Sharonda Williams, pay your weight. Hi, how are both of you doing today?
I'm doing
Good.
good, Sharonda. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm adulting. I cook dinner, so I've accomplished like everything in life today.
I heard that.
Look, it's my favorite enemies. I'm so happy to see both of you smiling in the same Zoom space together. But I know that everyone is asking you this question, but I need to know for myself. Since we are talking about fears and panic, I need to know, what is your worst fear? And Cameron, we can start with you.
Well, believe it or not, my worst fear is flying. I hate turbulence and I hate flights, and I do it all the time. So you can overcome your fears, ladies and gentlemen. You can do
Yeah, dying is probably my number one fear. I don't want to die.
Look, you have those moments when you get older, you're just like, oh my goodness, like I'm going to die one day. And then
Yeah,
I can't think about it. It's just too much. I have all anxiety.
yeah.
But one of the things that I wanted to ask the both of you is, your characters actually have a lot in common, even though they come from different socioeconomical classes. And so I wanted to ask both of you, do you feel as though that your characters, once they do come in contact with one another, do you feel as though that they're really enemies because there's something that they're both dealing with, they just can't see it yet?
Yeah, I mean, I think that that's a great way to put it. I think that there's a moment where we're fighting that Ray at least recognizes that he respects Bishop. He respects this character. He respects the chip on his shoulder, and he respects that, he's probably a better guy than Ray, or at least, or they kind of see in that moment, they kind of both have this self-hatred, the self-loathing, and just to kind of see eye to eye, like right after having a fight, I think is such an interesting,
it.
thing.
It's interesting that you say that because I feel that Bishop does the same exact thing. Like mid fight, there's something you say and Bishop clocks it and he's like, "Whoa, am I wrong? Like wait a minute. Like is Ray? Are we more similar than I thought? You're good. But yeah, it's very interesting that you mentioned that because I feel that it's the same way with Bishop as well.
Yeah, and one of the things that I do find interesting with your characters is both of how you treat Heather.
Yeah.
And it seems that Cameron with Bishop is almost like he underestimates her. But Ray, who hasn't spent enough time with Heather as Bishop has, he sees the endless possibilities of what she is capable of. And I wanted to ask the both of you, why do you feel as though you have two opposite reactions to your interactions with Heather, even though Bishop has had more time with her?
For me, kind of what I took from that was I think that Ray is this character that the world looks at him one way, because he acts like a dick. And I think that if you peeled back the curtain and you saw where he was from, you'd see that, his parents abandoned him and they're gone, and he had to be a father to his family. I think that there's a lot of responsibility as a young man that he had to take on that maybe he didn't want to, maybe the other kids didn't want to. And I think that, at least the moment for me that I tried to tap into was the moment that she took the jump. It was like, you're the only one that doesn't give a fuck. Like, I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Because it's like there is nothing, and I think that that's kind of, you see that in the scene of like, we're both nothing, like at least that's what I saw. And I think that that's what's attractive to Ray is, and like ultimately in the show is, these kids feel really alone, and they feel really stuck. And I think that's the shift for him. It's like, oh, I might not be alone. Maybe I don't need this game. Maybe so.
Yeah. And
I,
Cameron?
I think for Bishop, it's a little bit of he also feels alone and isolated because of his relationship with his father. It's very strained, and his relationship with his mom, who's not in his life right now. So it's very, very, very difficult for him. And I think it's not so much he underestimates Heather. I think he's very scared and very protective. I think he feels a need to be there for the people he loves, and because he doesn't have to be, he doesn't have he doesn't have to be in a situation of having to fight for what happens next after high school. He knows he's going to college, and he wants to help his friends on their way to finding that next step as well. It's
okay. I won't side eye Bishop anymore because I was side eyeing him for the treatment of Heather. So I'm gonna let you slide with that answer. But for the last question, it feels as though all of your characters are lost and really searching for a way out, searching for a new life. And I wanted to ask both of you, personally, how do you deal with when you're lost? How do you make sure that you take the steps to make sure that you make it back on track so you don't lose your way?
I think personally, you gotta. We all have those moments where you're off the track and you know you're off the track, and it's hard to just stop and take a deep breath. I think the most important part is taking that deep breath and recognizing, okay, this is the situation I'm in. How can I fix it? Okay, I'm not gonna. You worry about what's in your circle of control, not what's outside of it. Because when you worry about what's outside of it, it kind of, life can feel overwhelming. You know,
Yeah.
fix what's inside your circle, and then suddenly and slowly but surely your circle starts to expand, and you can focus on more things. But it's hard to do that when you don't take that deep breath. So I say that deep breath is very, very crucial and critical.